Hey everybody, it is Matty here with Altcoin Buzz with you on this Friday. Hope you're having a terrific one and a good end to your week despite the downturn that we've seen in the market. We're going to talk about that today. But the silver lining is the fact that we've still maintained that support of $5,000 for Bitcoin. We're going to discuss that. We're going to believe some more optimistic perspectives in the form of what Brian Kelly has been saying. We'll take a brief look at this EOS price analysis by Robert. And you have analysts saying that despite the drop that we've seen over the last 24 or so hours, it's unlikely, again, that's just according to some, but unlikely that we're going to see a $4,000 Bitcoin. We have news of Brexit as it relates to the crypto markets and their response to the politics going on in the UK. Harvard is in the news. They've intersected with the world of crypto, taken the plunge into that space with a token sale investment. And then we're going to round out the news today with Telegram information. So their TON blockchain is live and in private testing mode. We'll take a look at that from a couple of different perspectives as well. Finally, as this IMF poll, we talked about the International Monetary Fund yesterday. Well, they have a poll that's come out. Cryptocurrency payments, according to that poll, will be mainstream by 2024. Let's begin here on CoinGecko.com with a snapshot of the market. We're down 1% overall at $171 billion currently for the total cryptocurrency market cap. Things have definitely taken a slide, but as you can see, at least at the time of this recording, Bitcoin still sits above $5,000, at least for now. Everything else has taken a hit in the range of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. Nevertheless, most of these projects, with a couple of exceptions actually I'm seeing here, Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Binance Coin, they're still down on the week by, in some cases, nearly double digits. So that's what it looks like right now. The altcoins seem to have been affected much more severely than Bitcoin itself. Like I said, the most important thing is that it's still sitting at the $5,000 support. So let's explore that here on altcoinbuzz.io with this article by Luke. Cryptocurrency market suddenly takes a hit, but Bitcoin holds above $5,000. Today, Bitcoin suddenly dropped almost 5%. The drop came a few hours after reaching 5,400, a new high since November of 2018. Many major cryptocurrencies, writes Luke, are seeing significant losses after Bitcoin suddenly fell back to its psychological support at $5,000. With that, after some impressive growth over the last week and a half, many cryptocurrencies are now deep in the red. The overall crypto market suddenly decreased by $16 billion over about 24 hours or so, ending the rise that Bitcoin and most altcoins have seen over the last 2 weeks. Bitcoin dropped by almost 5%, but at least is now finally stabilizing at around $5,000. As I've been saying these past few days in the videos, guys, at least in the short term, and at least in my opinion, what goes up must come down. That's not to say that we're not going to be exponentially greater as far as value in this space in a few years. But yeah, over the short term, you see rises and you see falls. They follow each other, and that's natural. As Luke concludes, over the next 48 hours, it has to be seen if Bitcoin can hold this support of $5,000. Unfortunately, in his opinion, a further decline to 4,700, and after that 4,400 and 4,200 is potentially in the cards. So that's just a fair warning. We don't want to see that happen, but if it breaks support, that is a possibility. The eternal optimist Brian Kelly, however, believes Bitcoin all-time highs could be just around the corner. This article by Chris from today. Brian Kelly, CNBC contributor, believes that Bitcoin can reach all-time highs with the upcoming halving and institutional investment. Brian Kelly, the founder of investment firm BKCM and CNBC contributor, believes that Bitcoin is on its way to new all-time highs. His beliefs are based on the upcoming Bitcoin halving in late May 2020. On the Fast Money segment, Brian Kelly stated that this is a Bitcoin resurgence, and the December 2018 lows in the 3,000s are probably the lows that have expressed bottom. His reason for believing this is that one of the metrics he uses, active addresses, are up actually 26% since January. He also points to the fact that Fidelity is rolling out their institutional platform, and the CME Bitcoin futures reached near record volume last week. Quote, I think there's a really good chance that the December lows we saw in the 3000s are probably the low for this cycle. There's a couple of things that are going on. You've seen improving fundamentals. You look at active addresses. That's one of the big metrics I look at. That's up 26% since January. You look at transaction levels. Those are back to 2017 levels. So there's a lot of network activity. Then you look at who's buying this. You're seeing people like Fidelity still rolling out their institutional platform. And then as a proxy, look at the CME Bitcoin futures, the large open interest holders. So these are big institutions. Those are all-time highs, and it continues to grow. Last week, they saw record volume on CME Bitcoin futures. So you're starting to see institutional investors come in here with a good fundamental tailwind, and that's got Bitcoin back in the saddle again. Yeah, I agree. I think that infrastructure that's being laid out right now foundationally does represent that tailwind, and I think is a good omen going forward. Take a look at the rest of Chris's article. I tend to be in agreement with Brian Kelly here. At least he's not, promising anything specific or pointing out a certain date in particular. But overall, it's possible all-time highs could be just around the corner. You never know. Although it's taken a hit, one of the star performers in this latest altcoin run has been EOS, and we have a price analysis here by Robert, who asks, what is next? According to Robert, this is just the beginning for EOS. It will continue to gain value, and here is why he thinks that is the case. According to CoinGecko.com, EOS has a market cap at the time of this publication of 5.47 billion US and a total supply of just over 1 billion. They're currently ranked top 4 in terms of market cap. The volume is pretty good as well, currently at almost 4.85 billion, and that has been an increase of almost 1 billion in the past 24 hours. In terms of EOS Bitcoin short-term chart analysis, you have support at 10,300 Satoshis and then 10,000 Satoshis. Resistance is presenting itself at 11.5 thousand Satoshis and then at 12.15 thousand Satoshis. And again, at the time of this publication, the current price on CoinGecko.com was $4.94. Let's just make sure that's still somewhat accurate. Actually, we're up higher, sitting at $5.28 currently on CoinGecko.com. So EOS has been one of those really very good performers, actually. If you want to take a look at some of the more technical analysis and get Robert's take on where things may be going, then check out this article. We'll link to it, as always, in the description below. You can read it in full. Looking quickly at this piece here on newsbtc.com, according to one analyst, despite the drop that we've seen, Bitcoin is not likely to retrace to $4,000. Following Bitcoin's overwhelmingly positive price action over the past couple of weeks, the cryptocurrency has finally hit a strong level of resistance that sent it spiraling downwards. Now, Bitcoin is beginning to establish fresh levels of support and resistance, which may lead to the formation of fresh trading range. And analysts are now explaining that Bitcoin does have multiple levels of strong support formed throughout the $4,000 region, which means that a drop back to the lower $4,000 level is highly unlikely. Alex Kruger, an economist who primarily focuses his attention on cryptocurrencies, discussed where Bitcoin's next levels of support exist in a recent tweet, noting that a drop below $5,000 will likely lead the crypto down towards 4,780. Quote, Coinbase high was 5,489. Don't expect to pull back to 4,000. That's too deep. 5,000, then 4,780, 4,680, 4,550, which is the 200-day moving average, 4,400, 4,200, and resistance on the upward side is at 5,350, 5,500, 5,750, 6,000, and 6,400, he explained in a tweet. We'll have a technical analysis piece coming out shortly on this, but I agree with Alex that there is a whole bunch of support on the way down. Then again, there was a whole bunch of resistance on the way up, and we just smashed through that. So if the movement is large enough, like I said the last time, I think occasionally at least you can throw some of this chart analysis out of the window because it doesn't count for anything if the big players really start playing, and whether they start buying or selling, it's not always applicable is all I'm saying. But I would like to believe that this is the case. Let's see, and let's hear your opinions in the comments below. Looking at this piece quickly on EthereumWorldNews.com, Brexit delayed 6 months. Crypto markets respond. So Brexit has been delayed until Halloween of 2019, with EU and cryptocurrency markets responding strongly to the news. So at the same time as the no-deal Brexit was looming over Europe, the cryptocurrency markets took off on an explosion that saw Bitcoin rise over 30% in a week. Analysts were calling for crypto as an alternative to the British pound and euro, given that both currencies were facing a convoluted and likely volatile future. Similar to its function in developing countries and those prone to hyperinflation, Bitcoin became a more attractive means for wealth storage in comparison to its European fiat counterparts. However, last week, Parliament voted against a no-deal Brexit, forcing Prime Minister Theresa May to come to terms with Brexit in a manner that included negotiating and a road forward with the EU. Today, Brexit has again been put on hold as May was able to convince European Union leaders to push back the UK's exit to the end of October. So the suggestion here is that predictably the cryptocurrency markets responded to this news. Do you guys believe that that's what caused Bitcoin to fall 5% and resulted in an overall decline in the valuation of crypto after the bullish phase that we saw? I'm not so sure the two are related. I'm not convinced that the correlation is quite that strong. It could have been one factor. It could have been the precipitating factor. Who knows? But I'm not entirely sold on this idea, to be honest. However, it's not a bad hypothesis. If you want to read more about it in full and get the author's take on how cryptocurrency and Brexit are linked, check out this piece on ethereumworldnews.com. Looking here on bloomberg.com with this story, Harvard takes the plunge into crypto with a token sale investment. Article from April 11th. Harvard University's endowment is backing Blockstack Incorporated, a crypto company that seeks to hold a $50 million digital token offering. Blockstack said in a regulatory filing Thursday that Charlie Saravia, a managing director at Harvard Management Company, is a representative of an advisory committee it formed for the sale of tokens. Harvard Management and two other investors have already purchased about 95.8 million of the company's tokens, valued at about $11.5 million, according to the filing. Harvard thus joins a small group of institutional investors that have jumped into crypto assets. Two pension plans in Virginia invested in a venture capital fund for the blockchain and digital assets industry earlier this year, while in 2018, as I was just going to say, Yale University made a similar investment. So the universities are getting more and more involved, at least more and more curious in the world of crypto and blockchain. And we're just talking at the level of investments here, let alone what they're teaching students, what their course offerings are. You can check out the full article on Bloomberg.com here. It's an interesting piece, and I think this is the sort of thing that is, people are going to take note of. They're going to realize that, well, if Harvard is associated with this sort of thing, maybe it's not as illegitimate and scammy as the whole media world has been telling us in these last 2 years of FUD. I take this as a good little piece of news. Let us know your thoughts, as always, in the comments below. Here on Cointelegraph.com, Telegram's TON blockchain is live in private testing mode, shows high speed, according to a report. Global messaging app Telegram has reportedly launched a private beta testing of its blockchain. Telegram Open Network, Russian media outlet Vedomosti reports on April 11th. According to them, Telegram has opened access to a testing version of TON blockchain to a limited number of global developers, including Russian developer teams. Citing two anonymous persons who acquired the early access, the news agency reported that the dev teams were enabled to set up TON blockchain nodes. From a different perspective, that same news is being covered here on coinspeaker.com, so check it out. Telegram launched private testing for its TON blockchain. Finally today in the news, and again, it's going to have to be somewhat rapid fire, but we talked about the IMF yesterday, the International Monetary Fund, and in a new poll, they have a report indicating that cryptocurrency payments will be mainstream by 2024. So the quick rundown here is that more people prefer crypto. That's not too surprising. Bitcoin accepting merchants are increasing globally. However, there are issues that exist with cryptocurrency micropayments. An ongoing poll by the IMF shows that more people believe that cryptocurrency will be the most popular payment means for lunch by 2024. So at the time of press, more than half of the respondents say they would use cryptocurrency to pay for lunch in 5 years' time. Of the almost 26,000 votes cast, that's a big-time legitimate poll, 56% chose cryptocurrency, while another 29% selected mobile phone payments. You can see here that only 7% would respond or have responded with cash, and 9% responded with a bank card. With the continued integration of cryptocurrency payments onto mobile platforms, perhaps some of those 29% exactly could pivot to the crypto side. Meanwhile, cash and bank card payments so far have a combined total of 15% on the poll. Of course, this relates back to the news that we discussed with Coinbase. Case in point, Coinbase on Wednesday, the 10th of April, announced the launch of their cryptocurrency Visa card. This allows UK customers to spend Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and other cryptos instantly at every Visa accepting merchant. So basically everywhere. A portion of the company's blog post announcing the launch reads, quote, Coinbase Card supports all crypto assets available to buy and sell on the Coinbase platform, meaning that they can pay for a meal with Bitcoin or use Ethereum to fund their train ticket home. Not only do people have a preference for crypto and they're more open-minded to it, but of course the acceptance of Bitcoin is increasing globally. Take a look at this report in full. We'll link to this on bitcoinist.com. You can check it out. And there are, some important details to consider as well, some problems that exist. There are certain issues with cryptocurrency micropayments, but nevertheless, I think this is the trend moving forward. And speaking of Harvard, prior to this, it's good to see a name, a brand like the IMF that's reporting this kind of news, because again, that adds legitimacy to this space. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below. And that about rounds it out, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media and keep checking back into our website for updates, altcoinbuzz.io. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications if you enjoyed today's video. Have a great Friday, everybody. All the best if you choose to invest, but have a great end to your week, a great start to your weekend, and we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.